Hello, Fiedelbogen here, to my fellow workers in the vineyard, worldwide. Greetings. The title of today's talk is Helping Men by Hurting Feminism. Yes, I blame feminism for spreading the story that men are responsible for most domestic violence. There is no creditable evidence that men commit 95% of domestic violence, as the feminists have drilled into the collective mind for so many years. This is not by any stretch a fact. It is merely an assertion, a thing asserted. And anything but anything can be asserted. Even the most flagrant humbuggeries can be asserted like the gospel. Yet it remains never more and never less than a mere thing asserted, and by itself that counts for diddly. Now, it seems that men, in fact, commit only half of all domestic violence. Truckloads of highly creditable academic studies made to the best specifications you could ask for all bear witness to this, while the documentation for the feminist case is paltry. Yes, I know, for I have looked into it. I have studied it. Trust me, the non-feminists have a far stronger case than the feminists. So, that means that women are beating up men in the home just as often as men are beating up women. And the question naturally arises, what ought we to do about this? Open up existing domestic violence shelters to male victims? Or, as some have suggested, construct all new shelters for men? Certain malicious jackasses of the feminist persuasion have wondered out loud why the MRAs, whoever those are, don't
build domestic violence shelters for men.
Well, I can't answer for every activated non-feminist on planet Earth, but for myself, I must confess that I have no immediate plans to run out and
build a domestic violence shelter for men.
Nor do I have any long-range plans to do this. In fact, I have no plans at all to do this, and I can honestly inform you that I will never do this. I would have absolutely no idea how to carry such a project into effect. I haven't got the know-how, the connections, the savoir-faire, the moxie, and so on to do such a thing. I wouldn't know the first thing about it, let alone the 10th or 12th or 14th thing about it. So I am recusing myself from any such responsibility because I feel I am eminently unqualified for it. My talent lies elsewhere, as likewise my agenda. Plenty of other people, whether they call themselves MRAs or something else, would know exactly what to do in order to
build a domestic violence shelter for men.
But I lack even the necessary construction trades knowledge, and I damn sure would have no idea of what the day-to-day necessities would be in running such an establishment. Also, I would probably need some kind of college degree in social psychology or the like in order to be a domestic violence shelter operator, wouldn't you suppose? And I haven't got any such diploma, so I guess I'm out of luck. Finally, I am pretty sure I would need to be a people person to succeed in this line of work, and honestly now, I am not much of a people person. So I'll leave all of this to the credentialed social worker types. And finally, my plate is full. My life situation would not be compatible with building or operating a domestic violence shelter, even if I did know how in heaven's name to go about it. I simply haven't got the time. And so, in case anybody is wondering, that is why I am not personally, single-handedly,
building a domestic violence shelter for men.
I can only speak for myself, but if you wanted to query a bunch of others, I am sure they would have plenty of perfectly good reasons why they, too, are not
building a domestic violence shelter for men.
In fact, reasons largely similar to my own. As an activated non-feminist, I feel it is my calling to attack the problem at a more upstream location. And so my endeavor is not activism, as that word is commonly understood, but rather agitation. I am not accountable to any activist frame of reference because I am not involved in such a theater of operation in the first place. And more significantly, I do not pretend to be. I wish to attack feminism as a movement and as an ideology, to slow it down, to muster forces against it, to discredit it, to damage it in the eyes of the world, and eventually liquidate it altogether. And I'm going about this with nothing more sophisticated than the power of words, combined with the wonders of modern-day information technology. If I were living in the 18th century, I would likely be writing pamphlets or something along that line. But nowadays, in the 21st century, cyberspace is how we pamphleteer. I am interested in domestic violence against men mainly because I want to use it to score rhetorical points against feminism. And to be honest, that is what most people like me are chiefly interested in doing. This is a noble endeavor, if you accept the premise that feminism is a bad thing and has got to go. To score rhetorical points against feminism is all part and parcel of this noble endeavor, and just one of many operations that will conduct ultimately toward the desired outcome. It's all in the game, and it's all good. So once again, I am an agitator who wants to score rhetorical points against feminism in order to assist in bringing about its ultimate collapse. And I use the issue of domestic violence as a device or prop or springboard, if you will, toward that end. Feminism as a movement and as an ideology has a lot to answer for. Yes, feminist guilt lies heavy indeed, for as I said earlier, feminism is responsible for spreading the vile story that men are physically assaulting women in the home in plague proportions, and that women, like innocent doves, are doing nothing remotely comparable to men. And why would the feminists conduct such a despicable character assassination against half the human race? Well, I am not the devil's proctologist, so I won't go there now. But we know that feminists are indeed nasty things, as Angry Harry would say, and that their nastiness must be open to the disinfecting sunlight of the world's gaze. It is an urgent priority that we do this. We know that feminists spread lies with reckless abandon, and in our micro-dealings with them on a conversational level, we have discovered that they are the most shameless, arrogant, and repulsive little weasels you will ever meet. We know they are appallingly fanatical people who twist words and distort meanings 14 ways from Friday, that they have gained much too much influence in the world, and that it is past time somebody blew them out of the saddle. Some people want to focus the conversation entirely upon the problem of domestic violence as such, in order to get feminism off the hook by drawing attention away from it. However, I am only secondarily interested in solving the problem of domestic violence. I am primarily interested in solving the problem of feminism. The feminist problem. Yes, this is called setting your priorities straight by attacking the root of the difficulty. For if feminism remains in business, it will most undoubtedly breed more and worse violence against men and women both than you can ever hope to imagine. So yes, in the end, my endeavor is to help men. And along the way, everybody else. And the most upstream way to help men and everybody else, which taps the source directly, is to attack feminism and damage it any way you can. That is elementary and just as plain as broad daylight. Fiedelbogen. Out.